We spend billions of dollars on pharmaceuticals to treat symptoms of chronic disease, yet rates of cancer, heart disease, and diabetes continue to climb. At the same time, we overlook dietary solutions documented over 2 millennia ago. These ancient Middle Eastern texts are often treated merely as cultural artifacts, but look closer, and they function as early empirical medical journals. Within these pages, authors identified a specific regimen of 8 foods specifically for their role in systemic targeted healing. Modern molecular biology now validates what these populations observed. When consumed in their unrefined states, these 8 foods act as functional medicines, packed with active enzymes and polyphenols that our biology expects. This diagram models the direct correlation between ancient dietary practices and modern cellular biology. The instructions on the left align with the molecular structures on the right. We are going to decode the biological pathways of these 8 specific cardiovascular, antimicrobial, and metabolic modulators. The historical diet was highly engineered. It provided a matrix that mapped specific unrefined bioactives onto human physiological pathways. In ancient Mediterranean cultures, the pomegranate was treated as a sacred biological weapon against disease. Priests wore them embroidered on their robes, and temples featured their carvings in stone. Today, this exact fruit remains a staple in ancient marketplaces, continuously relied upon for its recognized restorative properties. The underlying biochemistry lies in its deep crimson color. That pigment is derived from punicalagins and anthocyanins, uniquely potent cellular modulators with antioxidant properties far exceeding green tea or red wine. When these punicalagins interact with mutated cells, they trigger apoptosis, programmed cell death. They dismantle the dangerous cells while leaving surrounding healthy tissue unharmed. This animation models the cardiovascular data. Clinical studies show that hypertensive patients consuming pomegranate juice daily experienced a 36% reduction in arterial plaque, reversing existing damage. For wound healing and internal inflammation, ancient healers relied on the primary liquid medicine of the era, extra virgin olive oil. Its historical efficacy relied entirely on mechanical cold press extraction methods. This prevented the heat destruction of fragile therapeutic compounds. The specific phenolic compound responsible for its peppery, slightly bitter taste is oleocanthal. This diagram compares the molecular structures of oleocanthal and modern pharmaceutical NSAIDs like ibuprofen. Both molecules travel to and dock with identical inflammatory enzyme receptors in the body, shutting them down to stop pain and inflammation. Modern commercial olive oils sold in clear plastic bottles have been stripped of this oleocanthal. They are medically useless compared to dark glass, cold-pressed variants. Ancient populations maintained superior cardiovascular health through the daily dietary ingestion of these potent, structurally intact anti-inflammatory phenolics. Historical texts record the Israelites in the wilderness longing for garlic, a plant that modern analysis reveals as a potent natural antimicrobial, antiviral, and antifungal agent. Converting garlic into a therapeutic agent requires a mechanical trigger, crushing the clove to release the enzyme alliinase. Over 10 minutes, it converts the inactive compound alliin into the potent molecule allicin. Allicin destroys antibiotic-resistant bacteria, including MRSA. During both World Wars, it was used directly on battlefields to treat infected wounds when medical supplies ran low. Another potent antimicrobial is raw honey. Unlike the dead, pasteurized syrups sold in supermarkets today, ancient, cloudy honey is a living enzymatic substance. Raw honey uses living enzymes and osmotic pressure to literally rupture the cell walls of invading bacteria. It creates an environment so hostile to pathogens that it never spoils. Beyond killing pathogens, the ancient diet featured a highly efficient digestive engine to extract life-sustaining nutrients. Ancient dietary mandates required consuming bitter herbs before heavy meals, a practice still observed during the Passover Seder. Bitter flavor receptors on the tongue instantly command the gallbladder to contract, releasing concentrated bile into the small intestine. This bile flush is required to break down dietary fats and absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K into the bloodstream. To handle lethal infections, ancient texts reference the fig, detailing its use as a life-saving topical poultice. Modern analysis identifies phycin, a unique enzyme in figs that aggressively draws out infection, reduces inflammation, and repairs damaged tissue. These ancient meal structures, starting with bitter herbs and utilizing raw enzymatic foods, were highly engineered sequences designed to sterilize the gut and maximize cellular nutrient extraction. The foundation of this historical diet rested on ancient grains, providing the pure metabolic energy necessary for survival. These grains were manually harvested, cultivated without the chemical or genetic interference of modern industrialized farming. This introduces the wheat paradox. The wheat consumed in ancient times is genetically unrecognizable from the inflammatory product filling supermarket shelves today. This chart compares their genetic structures. Ancient grains like einkorn contain a simple structure of 14 chromosomes. Modern wheat has been aggressively hybridized for shelf life, resulting in a chaotic cluster of 42 chromosomes that triggers inflammation and metabolic chaos. Consider the ancient recipe for Ezekiel bread, combining wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. This specific ratio creates a complete amino acid profile, delivering the 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. The barley in this mix is particularly critical. It contains beta-glucan, a soluble fiber clinically proven to pull LDL cholesterol out of the body and regulate blood sugar. For rapid endurance energy in the harsh Middle Eastern climate, these populations relied on dates. Date cultivation occurred on a massive historical scale, producing enough yield to sustain entire ancient economies and fuel traveling armies. Their unique internal chemistry features a balanced ratio of glucose, fructose, and sucrose. Paired with high potassium and fiber, dates offer instant ATP energy production without spiking insulin. The historical metabolic engine relied on structurally intact carbohydrates and complex genetic profiles. Modern industrial processing has systematically dismantled these vital nutrient matrices. The modern industrialized diet strips away the enzymes and polyphenols that our biology expects. We consume thousands of calories, leaving us overfed but cellularly starved. Reversing this cellular damage requires returning to the exact 8 unrefined foods that rebuild the ancient biochemical matrix. We can integrate these historical medicines directly into a modern daily routine. In the morning, integrate raw honey for immune defense, alongside authentic ancient grains like einkorn or spelt for sustained B vitamin energy. Before heavy meals like lunch, mandate 1 to 2 bites of bitter greens, such as arugula or dandelion. This triggers the gallbladder and optimizes your body's nutrient extraction. For midday energy, utilize whole dates and fresh figs as pre-workout fuel. Their high fiber content strictly regulates your glycemic load. During evening dinner preparation, enforce a strict 10-minute resting rule for crushed garlic to maximize allicin yields, and cook exclusively with cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. For daily cardiovascular maintenance, prescribe yourself 8 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice to reduce arterial plaque. Fighting chronic disease requires reintroducing the precise, structurally intact plant molecules that human physiology was engineered to process.